So we're once again joined by Andrew Rogers here at the Titleist National Fitting Centre at the Sentosa Golf Club in Singapore, talking about drivers. Everyone loves to hit the ball longer and further. But Andrew, obviously there were some previous misconceptions in the old days. If you weren't a good player, you couldn't hit a driver, therefore you shouldn't have bought a driver. But truly now, an average Joe can actually buy a driver.
Drivers have a reputation of being one of the hardest clubs to use in the bag because they're so long, and they're the club where your technique will be exposed the most in a lot of aspects. And these days drivers are so forgiving and so easy to use that absolutely everybody, even beginners, should get a driver in their bag. The key though with all of these things to make it playable is to get it fitted.
So having said that, how important is it to get your driver fitted correctly?
Driver fitting's really, really important. If you can't get the ball in play off the tee, it's a very long day on the golf course. So getting your driver fitted to control your dispersion and get it under control is really, really important. And obviously maximize the distance. The things you need to look out for your driver is what kind of head type is going to be best suited to you, but also the loft of the head is really important, and shaft length. Shaft length is probably the biggest myth we see in driver fitting. Generally speaking, the average driver shaft length in the store is about 45.5 inches, but even at the PGA Tour, the average shaft length there is about 44.75. So even the best players in the world are using under-length drivers, and being able to get centerness of strike is the key to getting you the control and maximising your distance. So shaft length is a really, really important factor we look at in fitting.
So if I wanted to get fitted for a driver, what's the process that we would go through here at the Titleist National Fitting Centre?
Yep, so similar to all of our fittings, the first step is an interview process. Have a conversation with you about what you like and don't like on the course, and what you see, what you'd like to see more of or less of, and is there a particular shape you want to get rid of.
Funnily enough, with the driver more than anything, I'm more concerned about the spin rate, because I miss driver very spinny.
And then we look at your current driver and have a look at a bit of a baseline. Yeah.
Okay, straight.
Nice.
Ish.
What is the club inducing in your ball flight that you do or don't like?
It still slides right.
And then we start looking at how do we optimize it. So for you, you're very fast, you've got a lot of ball speed.
Right.
And you have a tendency to trap the ball.
Right.
So that's why you have a bit of a knife edge sometimes. We hit down, the bad one's gonna spin up because there's so much speed, the ball will just roll up the face a little bit and then it's high carvy off to the right. Do we need to improve your strike location? Do we need to try and manage your spin? Do we want to bring your flight down? Do we want to bring it up? We're gonna try a different head. All right, that's hopefully going to give you a little bit more control of that, try and get your ball speed. It's a little bit more consistent for how you hit it.
Yep.
Someone like yourself who hits down is going to hit sort of more up and down the face.
Okay.
We see that with your irons a little bit. So we need to have a head that's going to work very well up and down the face. And we're going to just see, what can we do with bringing this spin rate down without making it come out that low. So we start looking at all of those aspects, shaft length, shaft type, head type, it all comes into it.
So let's talk about some of the technology that's come a long way since the age of Persimmon Woods and the like. And what's some of the new technology that are built into modern drivers that can help players hit it further and higher?
The physics of what makes a driver work really well has been known for a long time. These modern drivers are a design marvel. They're a manufacturing marvel. To make drivers the way they do, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of money, and a lot of R&D time gets poured into them. It's all about how thin can you make it, where can you put the weight. So we have what we call a speed chassis in our drivers, and that's about how we can construct it and make the crown as thin as possible and the face as thin as possible. That allows us to put a lot of mass down in the bottom of the head, which helps hopefully launch the ball out nice and high with as little spin as is possible.
$1 million question, shaft or head, what's more important?
Head, then shaft length, then shaft height. We're going to try the TS4 head.
Okay.
The TS4 head for us is our lowest spinning head. Okay. It's a little bit smaller, so it's a slightly smaller head shape. It's a different look. It's going to look more neutral.
Yeah. But it looks more visually appealing to me already. The one that I thought I would like the least because it's a little bit smaller.
Because we fit players at every level from all over the world, different heights, different dynamics, everything, you need to have all these different options to be able to make sure you can optimize everyone's ball flight.
We talk about high launch, low spin. That's the common thing we hear when people are trying to fit drivers. Is that a myth or is there some truth to that?
It is true that the optimal distance will come from being able to launch it as high as possible with as little spin as possible, but it's not that linear, and it really depends on the person. If someone has a tendency to hit it pretty low, you can still give them an optimal distance at a low ball flight. If someone who has a tendency to hit it low is then trying to change their whole swing to hit it high, then that's going to have a flow-on effect to the rest of their clubs. What are their irons like then? And so it's just about trying to tailor that solution for the person. Optimal carry is 271, we're only at 261. So we're saying it's not bad, but if we can get this, if we can just get it launching a little bit higher, peaking out a little bit higher, he's got 10 meters more carry.
What is that, Adila?
2 a green. Keep an open mind. You and I together will get the right decision, because it's not me telling you what you have to use. It's me going, here's cause and effect, and the things that are important, and you going, great, I would like it to be like this or like this.
Numbers look right, you know, you can go, okay, sure, let's try and get you something that's a bit spinnier, or I might want to hit it really, really low all the time.
It's all about that individual, and I don't like the way it looks. Don't suffer it. We have other options.
Still thin miss, but straight. Is there a risk where we could be coming to the edge of how far we can hit the ball with technology?
All manufacturers are governed by some regulations on ball speed control. So really the art in these days is how can you make it aerodynamic to get a bit more speed through the ball, and then how can you manage your launch and spin, and how forgiving can you make that head. But the physics behind driver heads has been known for a long time. That's why they're pushing the envelope with the materials they use, how they make them, how thin can they make them, just pushing the physics that's already known in drivers.
So with as thin as you've made the crown and the face, is there any risk that more players could start cracking the faces on their drivers?
Yeah, no, these days the way clubs are made, they're massively over-engineered pieces of equipment. The titaniums they use in making these clubs is phenomenal, really. The effort and time that goes into getting the tolerances so low and so tight to produce these products is extreme, and our heads are designed for every player of every aspect, from someone whose swing speed is relatively low to someone who swings in the extreme swing speed.
So that felt toey.
This is the benefit of getting a head type that's going to work efficiently for you. You still have 1.49 smash,
right.
Spin's still good, you still hit it over 290.
Right.
So the bad one and the good one start to do this.
That felt solid, but it was a sort of pull cut.
Your driver's pretty good. You have that tendency to hit down a little bit, which is fine. We actually really liked a lot about your ball flight. You know, we said the smash factor was 1.47. It was you know, not perfect, but okay. We said everything was pretty good. We just wanted to try and make you more efficient. If we could, try and bring your spin rate down, but the spin was pretty good for how your launch characteristics are. We got the smash factor up, so your efficiency of strike is higher, so you get a little bit more ball speed. So it's funny going to a head that, again, in theory, I'd say is less forgiving, but it's a way more playable head for you because it's more in line with your dynamic, which is I hit down on it and cover it and these things. So a bit more ball speed. We did bring your spin down a little bit. You get a little bit more distance out of it. Crucially for you is getting that bad one to come out a little bit flatter.
Can't wait to get started. Andrew Rogers, thanks again for taking the time. Well, we hope you learned as much from that video as we did making it. If you want more information about how you can get fitted at the Titleist National Fitting Center, click on the link in our description box below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe for more great content, click on the Asian Tour logo. And to check out the next video in our series on getting into golf, click over here.